Welcome to Ask and Learn.
All right, in this problem, dc/dt represents the rate of change of the caribou population, and dw/dt represents the rate of change of the wolf population. And so if the populations are stable, those rates of change would be zero. The populations would not be increasing or decreasing. For part B, if the caribou were to go extinct, that would mean that the equation C of t was zero because C of t represents the caribou population. Now for part C, we're given a bunch of numbers and we can substitute those into the equations that we have, and our goal is to find values of C and W that would be solutions to those equations. So we're going to substitute the numbers into dc/dt, and we get dc/dt equals 0.05 C minus 0.001 CW, and we want it to be stable, so that's going to equal 0. And for dw/dt, we substitute the given numbers in, and we get negative 0.05 W plus 0.0001 CW, and we want that to equal 0 for another stable population. So what we have here are two equations with two unknowns. We can call this equation 1, and we can call this equation 2, and we're going to solve the system for C and W. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take care of all these decimals. I would like to multiply the first equation by 1,000. So equation 1, when multiplied by 1,000, is going to be 50C minus CW equals 0. And then I would like to multiply equation 2 by 10,000, and that's going to be negative 500W plus C times W equals 0. Okay, now what I would like to do is add these equations together using the elimination method for solving a system. And we end up with 50C minus 500W equals 0. That gives us a more simplified relationship between C and W. And what we can do is add 500W to both sides and divide both sides by 50. And now we know that C equals 10W. The population of caribou is 10 times the population of wolves. We still don't know the values of C and W, but what we can do is we can take that and substitute it into one of our equations. I'm going to go back to equation 1. I'm going to substitute 10W in for C. So I'll have 50 times 10W minus 10W times W equals 0. So that would be 500W minus 10W squared equals 0. Let's factor 10W out of both of those, which we probably could have done earlier and not, and we could have saved a step. So 10W times 50 minus W equals 0. So then set each of those equal to 0, and we get 10W equals 0, and we get 50 minus W equals 0. Let's solve each of those and see what we get. For the first one, we get W equals 0, and for the second one, we get W equals 50. So that's telling us there are two ways to have stable populations. One way is if we have no wolves, and the other way is if we have 50 wolves. And if we have no wolves, we have no caribou, since caribou equals 10 times the wolves. And if we have 50 wolves, we have 500 caribou, since caribou equals 10 times the wolves. So those are the two ways to get a stable population. So it is possible to live in balance.